Hello, and welcome back to the Common Connected podcast. I'm your host, Janine Halloran, and on today's podcast, I wanted to address a question that actually came from the audience. So, a person reached out and asked me about strategies that professionals can do during the day, some quick self-care strategies for people to use during the day. So, I thought about it as many moments of self-care, and as I was writing and thinking about what I'd wanted to share with you, I thought it would actually also be helpful for parents or guardians or the grown-ups at home. It's also something that they can use during the thick of it when they're at home with kids as well. So I have been reading this book called Super Better by Jane McGonigal, and she talks about the concept of living a gameful life, being very playful. And as somebody who really loves play and understands the power of play, this is a really interesting concept to me. I really like it, and I really connected with the ideas that she has in here. In fact, when I was thinking about it and I was reading it, I thought about how we were talking about moving. When we moved our home last year, my kids would talk about, and my daughter in particular would talk about the things that we were doing were like side quests in order to get to move. So I have to talk to the water department and get the water shut off. It was a side quest. I have to register you for school. That was a side quest. And so it just resonated with me so well. And one of the things that she talks about is this concept of a power up. So a power up is a positive action you can take easily that creates a quick moment of pleasure, strength, courage, or connection for you. And what you do is you collect them and then you activate them. So you collect them by just figuring out what those things are, and you activate them by doing it. And so I, again, love this idea, love this concept. This book is phenomenal. It's just one of those books that I've been enjoying. It's all bookmarked up because I just have so many thoughts and ideas and want to integrate a lot of the strategies that she talks about. So when I was thinking about many moments of self-care during the day that professionals can do or families can do at home for the adults, all the adults, what can we do when we're in the moment, when we're in the thick of it, when we're with kids, when we're doing the things that we need to do? What are the strategies that we can use? So I tried to think of several quick things that you can do when you're in that position so that you can rest and recharge yourself quickly. So one thing to do is just take slow breaths for 1 minute. So even putting one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly and taking a few slow breaths just for 1 minute, that can slow things down. It's actually something that I start a lot of my talks with whenever I'm giving a presentation. I like to start with breathing, just one hand on my heart, one hand on my belly, and breathe together. So that's something that you can do during the day. People don't necessarily have to know, and I sometimes feel like adults don't care as much as kids in terms of seeing them, having them see us use our coping skills. And I actually think it's kind of cool if we can say, oh, I'm taking some slow breaths just because I need a moment. So I'm just going to take a few breaths right now. So I think it's fine if we show that to them. Another thing that I thought of for a mini moment during the day is just to take a mindful moment to look out the window and pay attention to what's going on, to maybe walk outside and stand just outside and see what you can hear, what you can see, what you can smell, watching a calming video for a moment and seeing what you notice in that calm video. So just having a mindful moment during the day, just taking a minute and looking and paying attention to what is around you and what's going on. Something else really quick, take a drink of water. It can just be a helpful thing. Taking a cold drink of water, if you're starting to get heightened, it can help you calm down a little bit, give you a break, hydrate, all those good things. I love just taking a quick sip of water, quick drink of water. That can be helpful. Something else that I actually used to do a lot when my kids were little is I would go outside with them. So like if they were having a hard time in a space, I would actually switch spaces. So I would either take them to another room or take them outside. And, they're little, so I'm going with them. But I would do that myself. If I was in a space and I was having a challenging moment, I would go to another room. I would go outside and just take a few slow breaths outside together, to be able to get myself in a better frame of mind, to just switch the energy, switch the intensity of the moment. I actually would even do this as a school counselor. So I would actually switch where I was. I would leave my office and I would go up to a particular classroom. There was this one particular classroom. I loved this teacher's energy. I loved the way she ran her class, and she had an open door policy with pretty much anybody, but in particular me. Like, she and I had talked about this, and I said, I just really love the energy that you have in your classroom. Is it okay if I just come in sometime, like if I'm having a hard day and I just want to like be around your happiness and your energy and your love for the kids? Is it okay if I come in? And she said, absolutely. So I have very vivid memories of like really tough school days where I would just go to this teacher's classroom and just hang out for 5 or 10 minutes. And it really did help and shift and make me, again, refocus on like, what is the bigger purpose here? What is the bigger goal? It's to help the kids. So I really appreciated being able to do that. And something else I would do is I would actually take walks around my building. If that classroom wasn't available, or that didn't seem like it was going to be a good fit for whatever was happening for me in that moment as the professional, I would just walk the building. I don't need a pass. So I can just take my water bottle and I can sip it, and I would walk hallways. I would walk up one hallway and then walk down another hallway and walk down another hallway. And sometimes just that movement would help me be able to recenter myself and get refocused on what I needed to do, give me and my brain a little bit of a break. So I really liked doing that. Another mini moment that I actually heard about from my friend and colleague, John Cuna, in the podcast that we recorded together. In his talking about his own self-care, he spoke about doorway affirmations. So what he does is when he walks through a door, at home, at work, wherever, he says his affirmation, or he says a mantra to himself. And it is powerful when you think about how many doorways you could possibly be walking through, and what a nice, friendly reminder to yourself, what lovely self-care to have that affirmation pop in your mind when you walk through the door. So any doorway, you just use this affirmation. So that's something you can use as you walk into a building, as you walk into your office, as you walk out of your office to go and work with a client or work with a child. So I think it's really interesting to think about the doorway affirmations. It's a lovely, lovely moment of self-care and self-reflection and self-talk that can be really super helpful. Something else that I like to do is sometimes I take a little mini vacation. I imagine my favorite place, and I have a few different favorite places. Right now, my favorite place is on my deck, sitting and watching all the wildlife, looking at all the trees, and seeing how nature changes through the seasons. And so it's really fun to actually sit out there in winter versus spring versus summer versus fall to see how it all changes, but just to know that I can go there in my mind when I need a break. So if I'm sitting in a meeting or if I am having a moment of challenge, sometimes I just imagine that I'm sitting on my deck and I go there and I think about what I see and what I hear and what I smell. And so that can be something that's really helpful for me to do as well. Another suggestion that was actually in Super Better, the book by Jane McGonigal, was to read a favorite poem or a favorite quote out loud. And I love that one too, because if you can find something that speaks to you, that makes you feel more powerful, that makes you feel good and gives you a positive energy for the day, absolutely use that. Be able to say that out loud. Or, if you're in front of a bunch of people, maybe that doesn't work because you can't say it out loud, but you can still read it and you can still think about those words in your heart. And then another suggestion that was from Super Better was to name 2 things you're looking forward to in the next week, big or small. So what are 2 things that you're looking forward to? Like a concert that you're going to. My son has a music concert tonight. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing my family. We're getting together for a celebration on Sunday, so that'll be fun. So those are some ideas that I was thinking about for many moments that you can take. And then I actually posted this question in the community in the hub, and one of the people in there said, listening to my favorite songs on YouTube or just looking outside my window. So again, more ideas of things you can do. And then in the hub, I think I said, something else that I like to do is I like to take a few minutes and pet my dog and look at cute animal videos. It just is really resetting for me. It really helps me feel more energized to like pet my dog and have a little bit of a few moments of cuddling time, or to just even look at cute animal videos. So if you're looking for ideas, a question that you can ask yourself is, what is something you can do easily in 5 minutes or less that makes you feel happier, healthier, or stronger? So that's kind of a fun question and a fun idea to think about, and so that you can collect your own power-ups and then activate your power-ups. And another thought that I had when I was writing this and preparing to share these ideas with you is the idea of stacking coping skills. So as I mentioned earlier, I would maybe take a drink of water and walk the building. So I'm not just doing one at a time. Sometimes I need more than one strategy at a time to help me. Sometimes I need more than one kind of self-care, more than one kind of way to re-energize myself to make it actually work for myself. So, I'll listen to a podcast and build Legos. True story. Or I will take a drink of water and go outside and sit on the deck. So though I want to help you understand, like, it doesn't have to be just one thing. If you need more than one, like maybe one isn't enough. Maybe you need a couple. So you can stack these power-ups if you need to. You may have also noticed that some of these strategies are strategies that I would suggest for kids as well. Absolutely. The strategies we teach our kids are strategies that we can use. It's not only for kids, it's coping strategies for anybody. So I love to be able to show kids that I'm using the strategies, show my own children, show the clients that I'm working with that I use strategies too. I talk about my favorite places all the time. When I talk with kids about imagining their favorite place, I share what my favorite place is too, so they know adults do these things as well, and I'm trying to model using coping skills. So if you want some more ideas for coping skills that you can use in your life for yourself or for the kids in your life, you might want to check out the Coping Skills Hub. So in the hub, there are over 100 coping skills now. I can't believe that. It's really fun to think about that. So there's over 100 in the resource library, and the more are added every month. Plus, there's a whole section on coping skills for adults in there with ideas from experts I've interviewed about the things that they do to help themselves reset and re-energize and recharge. So if you want to learn more about the Coping Skills Hub, visit copingskillsforkids.com/hub to see everything you get when you join there. And thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I really appreciate it. If you liked it, please feel free to share it with your friends and colleagues, and give us a rating or review wherever you listen. And finally, as always, don't forget about yourself. Take a few minutes, have a little fun, and have an awesome day.